Hello, hello.
That's a dick. Is that what you're saying?
Okay, hello, hello. Welcome along, everyone, to the Gers TV Weekly Tuesday night show here at Gers TV Towers in Glasgow. Behind the controls and on the comments and production tonight is Simon, as always. And on the couch, we've got Lewis and we've got Colin, aka Barry Bear. How you doing, gents? All right?
A wee bit happier now that we finally got a win on the board. How about you guys?
I'm the same, Lewis. It's finally good to see some good goals being scored. 3 point, well, not 3 points, but a good win. We're through in the cup. We know who we're playing next. Should be entertaining.
Lots to talk about tonight, guys. We'll start off with the game on Sunday. There's a chance there might be some breaking transfer news, so we'll keep our finger on the pulse on that. We'll talk about the new signing over the weekend, Price. We'll look ahead to any new signings coming in, and we can discuss potential new signings from America and also the game on Thursday night in the, can't believe I'm saying this, Conference League. Actually, I think it's the first time I've ever said that for Rangers.
Well, I've been Rangers. I've never played the Conference League before, and I tell you
Yeah.
something, I've only ever been to one Conference League game in my life, and it was actually earlier on this season. It was AEK Larnaca versus Beitar Jerusalem. It wasn't exactly the most entertaining game of football, so I don't really know whether to be looking forward to Thursday night or not.
God, it must have been bad watching Rangers if you had to go all the way to Greece to or Cyprus.
Cyprus.
Yeah. I knew it was one of the two. One of the choices two. Okay, so let's dive straight into it. We played St Mirren on Sunday in the Premier Cup, the round of 16, I believe. It could have been a bit of a banana slap. There was potential given the start to the season. But Lewis, start with yourself. Give us your overall thoughts on the game.
Yeah, the team looked more lively, to be honest. And I actually said before the game, when I seen the lineup, I was like, yeah, again, another time that he's picked the wrong team. But I was proven wrong. Off camera not too long ago, Colin asked me, did I have any thought, well, anything that I didn't like about the game? And it was like, and I said, aye, we conceded a goal. So, that's the only really thing. I think it was very, very, very enjoyable to watch, to be honest. Like, it was good to see, especially James Penrice coming on, getting a goal in his debut as well.
Colin?
I really enjoyed the game. I thought Rangers played really well. We played at a higher tempo that we've been playing at. The players seem to be getting stuck in a wee bit more. There are a couple of decisions from the referees about penalties no given to Rangers, but overall to score 5 goals, you can't complain.
I seen a comment. We'll go into that in a minute. I seen a comment. I seen it on Facebook. It was like when you're watching a Rangers game and it goes to VAR, it's kind of like an episode of the CSI. You don't know what's going to happen. It's like So I thought that was hilarious. It's not my comment, so I'm just going to claim it. But I thought it was hilarious. So Lewis, you've touched upon it. Let's have a wee chat about James Penrice. He was announced on, was it Saturday morning? Was it Friday night? Saturday he was announced. It was quite.
Saturday got announced.
So it was only Saturday. Obviously, there must be some talk in the background for a few days before it, and he was linked in January. So we have been pursuing him for quite a while, but we finally got him. How pleased were you to see Penrice signing and his subsequent performance, Lewis?
I didn't really feel much. See, when I seen the James Penrice, see if it was 4 weeks ago, I'd have been very excited about the signing. Don't get me wrong. Now I've been proven wrong a wee bit, but I just wasn't very excited considering the start of the season that we've had. I think all Rangers fans were on a bit of a downer, but obviously seeing him in action on Sunday, obviously a goal and an assist on his Rangers debut. I mean, you can't really say.
Well, I mean, it's better than any striker, to be honest. So, yeah. Colin, your thoughts on Penrice's debut?
Well, I'm just going to agree with Lewis first. Everybody was so down before. Everybody's going, where are these 3 to 5 new players coming before the transfer window closes? It's good that he came in. As Lewis says, can't fault the boy. He got an assist. He got a goal. Was stuck in. Some of the other signings, McCausland really impressed me as well. He was involved in a lot. I thought it's looking a lot better now.
Sometimes it's funny about Ross McCausland, obviously been at the club for a while, but sometimes when somebody goes away for a loan, comes away for a year, has a pre-season and comes back, it can feel a bit like a fresh signing sometimes with that. I do want to just keep, obviously it's been a negative start to the season up until Sunday, so I'm going to keep the positivity going for a little while, if that's all right, gents. I'm going to pronounce his name, I'm going to say Draganovic.
Dragojevic.
I will from now on known as the Dragon for me, I think.
I'll go with that.
Start with you
Vanya.
this time. Start with
can
you,
call him
Colin. Talk us through his goal. Right, I thought it was something we've been crying out for a couple of seasons. Somebody's got the confidence to hit a sweet half volley for 25 yards. It's something that I think has been missing from the club. That threat from outside the box, and he's not afraid to shoot. Even in his debut in the European game, I know he didn't play. He's played right back, but even then, he's tried a few shots in the first half before he was subbed, and he clearly likes to get on the score sheet and he likes a shot. So it was an absolutely fantastic goal, and I think he's going to be a great player for us. And I really seen on Sunday why we signed him, and £4 million in this day and age in this transfer market, the way things are at the moment. So far, and the evidence so far, it's only a couple of games, but it's his money well spent. Lewis, any thoughts?
Aye. Well, his first couple of games for Rangers, he sort of seemed a wee bit out of his depth, but obviously it's a massive culture change coming from Serbia to Scotland. But listen, as you said, you hit the nail on the head there, Gordon. It's something that we've been crying out for a long time, and it's very refreshing to see someone who's no fear to hit it from outside the box. I think the last time we had a player like that, probably Tom Lawrence, to be completely honest with you, who was somebody I actually rated very highly as a Rangers player. And obviously, we'll talk about Ross McCausland, who you were talking about a wee minute ago. We'll talk about him in a wee minute. But it was very refreshing to see, obviously, a young lad, obviously, very experienced in the game of football, obviously being the captain of a team like Partizan, who are no small club, let's be honest. So, yeah, it was fantastic to see him finally getting himself off to a good start at Rangers, because, as I said, the first couple of games he had was not really the greatest. As I said, he looked a bit out of his depth, I thought, but I'm glad to see him finally settling in.
Great. So, a couple more kind of questions for me to pose to you guys, then we'll see if there's any comments coming in. Ryan Derry scored his first goal in quite a while. I don't think he knew too much about it, if I'm being honest. But for me personally, it was pleasing to see a striker actually score, which is not something that we've had a lot of in the last 18 months. And I'm not actually being flippant. It's statistically and factually true, unfortunately. So I don't know. I don't think he knew much about it, but a good striker will just try and get on the end of it, no matter how it happens. So it was really pleasing for me to see to Ryan score, especially with Schmidt out for the season now, it looks like. What's your thoughts on Derry's performance and goal, Colin?
I agree with you. I think it's good to see the strikers actually scoring goals and taking the chances. You know, we were complaining about Shanklin not taking the chances, controlling the ball, or having any shots in previous matches. So it's good to see somebody stepping forward. And it's just also good to see us attacking and not just passing the ball about.
Yeah, Lewis?
Ryan Derry, he's someone that I've actually rated since he came in. He showed a lot of work ethic, a lot of work rate. You see him running a lot of the time, but as you say, sometimes he doesn't quite just get on the end of it. So it was good to see him finally get a goal. I think that's his fourth goal for Rangers, and I've seen a stat as well that is his, well, obviously his fourth goal for Rangers, but all 4 goals that he scored for Rangers has been scored with his first touch. And I also seen a stat, and I'm not trying to compare the two players, but Nikita Jelavic scored 36 goals for Rangers, and 33 of them were on his first touch as well.
That's a good stat.
So quite an interesting one. I seen that a few days ago. Funnily enough on TikTok, but it was indeed fact checked. So yeah, I'm pleased to see him finally scoring a goal. I hope we see more, because I think we will see a lot in a Derry in the coming few months, especially obviously Shinnicky out. But obviously there's rumours of us signing a new centre forward that we'll get on it shortly as well.
Forget goals. I'm all interested in his stats, so keep the stats coming, Lewis. Keep the stats coming. Somebody else's performance wanting to highlight is Gassam. So I think he's going for some criticism. He's starting to be, I think up until Sunday, he was starting to get a little bit of criticism. I think he was starting to be his consistency. I don't think anyone doubts there's a talent in there, but certainly for me, his final ball and his consistency has been somewhat questioned in the last, maybe towards the end of last season and then the start of this season. But I thought he had a good game. and I was really, really pleased to see that. And he did actually account for, in my opinion, most of our attacking threat. So, Lewis, starting with you this time, what did you make of Sam's performance?
I actually thought it was probably his best performance in a Rangers shirt. And to be honest, I know he actually started off quite well under Russell Martin when he first signed. But as you say, he's come under a lot of criticism in the last few while. And I'm not going to say that I take back what I've said, what criticism I've said about him, because I think it's well deserved. I think it has been very poor for the last few while. But I thought Sunday was absolutely fantastic, and as you said, probably the focal point of our attack as well. Obviously very pleased to see him getting a goal, and the goal that he scored as well was a very well worked goal from the team. But it just shows you don't need to do all this passing about the back. I mean, 3 passes and then you're in.
Yeah,
which we've seen other teams do against us.
Yeah, we see it all the time. Most of the goals we lose will be kind of cut open for a couple of quick passes.
Yeah, exactly.
And a run for deep, and to see us actually doing that to clubs or to a club was great. Colin, any thoughts on Gassan's performance at the weekend?
Well, I'm just going to agree with Lewis, but I also think that one of the important things to remember is we get so down and we get so frustrated with some of the players last season are not performing as well as we do, and we take it personal. And now once we get a fine win like we did, I'm not saying all's forgiven, but we're going, all right, can't you just do that a wee bit more often? Right? And, and if he can do it, then he's going to be a hero.
Yeah, and I think that's something that Derek McInnes has said in press conferences as well, but not just about individual players, but the entire team. And it's something we have noticed over the last 18 months. We are capable of playing well in spells of games. For some reason, we haven't up until now been able to carry it for most of the 90 minutes. But it was good. It wasn't the complete performance on Sunday. We still looked a little bit anxious at the back, which I'm sure we'll cover with comments and later on with Fernandez. But I thought on the whole it was a very pleasing performance, pleasing result, and the reward is a feisty, tasty tie in the next round. So we'll just see if there's any. Probably now is probably a good time to see if there's any comments. However, I'm going to have to rely on the youngsters here, Colin and Lewis.
Well, my specs are over there.
That's all right. But before we get to that, I just talking about Fernandez there, and obviously talking about James Penrice before. I seen a clip on Twitter, and it was you and Cameron. It was on some podcast on STV, and he was saying, and I didn't notice it until I'd seen a clip that I'd watched it back. James Penrice, less than 24 hours into the door, Fernandez makes a mistake, and you see James Penrice shouting the head off him. It's very, very refreshing to see.
Yeah, it was the same on the first European game last Thursday with the South African signing.
Kanya,
yeah. He was shouting at Fernandez as well in the first half against Jablonec at Ibrox. So yeah, interesting spot. I didn't know there's any other podcast apart of the Gers TV. I need to broaden my horizons a little bit.
That wasn't a shout out, by the way. That wasn't a shout out.
All I do is watch the Gers TV, take part and watch the breakfast shows in the morning. I didn't know there was any other podcasts about. I need to keep an eye on this.
We'll get on to the comments now, and then shortly after we'll have Chick Sharp calling in to give us his thoughts on the recent Rangers news. So Si, if you want to get up some comments for us, please, if you can.
Lewis, can you do this?
Yeah, I don't mind.
Good man.
I can kind of see.
Sorry, I can kind of read. So we've got a good combination.
A comment here for Terry Gordon. Gordon, the only stats that count is Rangers winning. Dragojevic goals a screamer, a bit like Jamie Ness against them, but similar to their and Newman against them as well.
Yeah,
thoughts, guys?
Yeah, I'll just go in here because I brought it up. I mean, it was a great goal, and as I said earlier on, he showed against Jablonec in the second leg at Ibrox.
Jagalonia. It's Jablonec.
We're playing Jablonec on Thursday. Yeah, Jagalonia. Sorry, too many Jags for me. It's like playing Partick Thistle. He showed that he wasn't afraid to shoot, and he scored an absolute belter. And I think I'm actually confident he'll go up to double figures this season if he plays regularly, because he likes a shot, and it was a sweet goal. So yeah, the only stats that do count at the end of the day are goals and assists, etc., and tackles. But they can be sometimes an indicator of how a team is playing, and they can be an indicator of how good a player is up to a certain point. But the real test is, is kind of mentally and character, etc., as well. But stats are important up to a certain point. But it was just a great goal, and it was really, really pleasing to see, and it came at such a good time as well.
Aye, not a wee comment I want to make, and obviously there's no Gers TV show without controversy. So obviously all obviously Rangers won 5-1, but all 5 Rangers goals at the weekend all get checked by VAR, and overall the whole VAR check, I believe it was 8 minutes and 17 seconds.
Yeah, it's like
It took all
CSI
collectively.
Ibrox.
It is.
That's what I hope. I might try and start that meme,
And
start that
don't-
hashtag up.
Don't
CSI Ibrox.
don't get me wrong. Ashley maybe thought 1 or 2 of them probably would have got disallowed at first, but then I seen the angles and it was well onside. But
They gave it a good shot.
they did try their best.
Gave it a good shot to get them chopped off. But so here's a phrase back to when it comes to VAR. The phrase that allows the VAR to intervene is the phrase "a clear and obvious error." Is that still the case? Is that still the law of the land?
Well, I'm not sure, because I think VAR rules changed over the course of the World Cup. I think they introduced that you can check VAR for things like corners. Well, maybe not go to the monitor, but you can check VAR whilst the game's going on about maybe corners and throw-ins and goal kicks or whatever.
I'm fairly sure they did come out before the season started. They said they weren't implementing.
So I'm not quite sure if VAR rules have changed domestically in Scotland and England or whatever. I'm not too sure.
Hopefully somebody can tell us, but for me it was always supposed to be a clear and obvious error. And if you're having to check something for over a minute, then I don't understand how that can be clear or obvious.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think I've has it done thoroughly. I'm still, even though I'm not in favour of the people doing it, I'm still in favour of VAR as a system, because that's like, you can't blame the TV. You can't blame the TV if you've got crap programs. It's the same with people. You can't blame VAR if you've got crap referees. But there should be a time limit or something.
And VAR is supposed to assist the ref. The ref's decision, he's still supposed to be the overall official for the game. But now in Scotland, it seems that the VAR's trying to override the ref in a lot of decisions.
Yeah, I did see a controversial goal for another team at the weekend where the attacking player seemed to
handball it.
Well, not even handball it, like literally pass the ball.
Play a completely different sport.
Lay it off. He's lay it off with a hand. But,
so VAR for our game.
What can you do? It's getting to the stage where it's unfortunate. Not just it's affected obviously Hearts last season greatly. Affect Rangers last season and this season. But it's kind of a game.
And then our view. I was getting tired of making these two Rangers for some of the honest mistakes that were being made.
Yeah, a wee comment here for Peter. Seen Raskin shouting and pointing to the players to move in on Sunday too. I think McInnes will change the hearts and mind of the team. Emphasis on the word hearts. We are becoming Rangers of Midlothian at this rate. Bringing in Hearts' manager, Hearts' captain, their midfielder, now a former Hearts left back, and Hearts coaching staff as well.
Claudio Braga next.
Hope not. Another wee comment here for Terry Gordon. Guys, what do you think St Mirren? What do you think St Mirren came and were wide open, and that's what happens when teams come and gave a go at us? Sorry, no, I'm not. I'm quite struggling with the grammar a wee bit. I don't think many teams will play like that against us. Revert back to low block. Yeah, a lot of teams actually do come to Rangers. Well, come to Ibrox, and play quite attacking because they know where our weaknesses are. Obviously, traditionally, a lot of teams, especially your likes of St Mirren's, your Millwalls, even your Hibs and Aberdeens, to an extent, come to Rangers and play a low block and try to suffocate us a wee bit. But a lot of times you see teams like this come a lot more open and presses, which, I think we've spoke about a couple of times. Rangers can and sometimes thrive on that a bit, but we haven't in the past wee while. So another wee comment here from Mark Aitken, if you can bring that up. That's all right.
Just coming back to the comment and what was said, I think St Mirren seen they might have a chance to win, and they did play up attack. And I just thought St Mirren were okay. To be fair,
I don't think St Mirren played bad.
We just took our chances for once.
Mm-hmm. We comment here.
Aye, Mark always gives us a fixture, so
cheers, Matt.
Keep them in the section, comment section.
We comment here. Going to come on shortly. Raskin is the driving force in this team. He goes and I'm not going to swear, but he goes and we're cupped. Obviously, there's some talks of Raskin leaving. Some folk are in favour of him leaving. Some folk are in favour of him staying. maybe seeing him as more of a leader in the team. What do you guys think? What's your guys' overall thoughts on that?
I like to see him stay, to be honest with you. I think he's developing into a player that the rest of the team relies on. He's one of our more experienced players as well and played in the bigger games for Rangers. And with bringing in, one statistic I read was we've brought in 11 players so far. We need somebody who's got a wee bit of history with the club.
Yeah, I like Raskin. I think overall, I mean, my bugbear with Raskin is, again, but I say that I could probably go through the whole Rangers team, and I could actually go through the whole Rangers team with this comment, but I believe that it's just a little bit inconsistent still for me, and sometimes he can drift out of games, but that's true for every Rangers player at the moment. So it's not just a singular criticism of Raskin personally. He's one of our better players, one of our most valuable players. If we are going to sell him, then we have to sell him for a big fee. But I would like to see him stay because he got to the quarterfinals of the World Cup with Belgium.
Yeah.
He starts games for Belgium. He's a good prospect. He's still relatively young as well. He's got a lot to offer. So it would have to be a really, really big offer for him, for me wanting to go. But if he does stay, which I hope he does, then I would like to see him improve his consistency a little bit.
As a wee comment there, size just put up. Could be make Raskin captain and keep him. And before I get on to that, I'm actually going to talk about my thoughts on Raskin. And I've said this probably for the last month or so. I'm actually not bothered whether he leaves or whether he stays. If he leaves, we will get a significant amount, possibly even a record-breaking amount of money for him. But again, if he stays, as you said, he's experienced. He's been at Rangers for a good few years. He is a leader. And he can be a leader, and as you said, Gordon got to the quarterfinals of the World Cup with Belgium. So, I mean, I think that shows a lot. But at the same time, for me, my arguments for maybe preferring Raskin to leave is the fact he is coming off of the back of a very successful World Cup. He's still relatively young. He's not old, but he's not exactly young for a footballer. He's not at the stage where he's a prospect anymore. He's experiencing the game, and he's still got a good couple of years left in his contract. So I think for me, if we were going to sell him, I think probably now would be the best time in terms of getting a fee for him. But at the same time, he's a well-experienced player at Rangers, especially in the last few years. And if we were to sell him, or get rid of him, whatever you want to say, we'd have to replace him with the same or better quality.
Well, I was just going to ask you, Lewis, do you think, if he's playing with better players, he's going to be a better player as well?
Of course he is.
And if he's given a wee bit more freedom to play as he wants under Derek than under, say, Russell last Martin, he'll be a better player. And that's one of the problems that we've had. And, Gordy, we've talked about this before. How much of it was past bad coaching management of some of the players? And now we've got new squad coming in, better players. Guys like Raskin should be a wee bit better, hopefully.
Yeah, if you're a good player, look at somebody like I'm not obviously comparing Raskin with somebody like Brian Laudrup, but someone like Brian Laudrup is always going to play better with better players. And I think what Raskin needs is players on his wavelength as well, because maybe players that maybe don't have the same football and brain, the same technique, the same ability might not be the same wavelength, and therefore some of the stuff that Raskin might be trying might not be coming off. We just don't see it. We don't notice it. Somewhat, but I think that this guy for this, obviously the Dragon that's come in, he's going to be a really good midfielder, and I just wish we could play just one defensive midfielder and let players like the Dragon and Raskin drive forward and kind of play box to box.
Aye, we comment here, Fetch. Can I introduce a subject and get your opinions on it? The one I was going to address if I managed to get on the phone. Yeah, go for it. That's all right. That's all right. Get your opinions in the comments, and we'll certainly discuss it here.
Yeah, for sure.
Another wee comment here. The comment from Chin. No point. No good having money if you piss it away with this recruitment team. I agree and disagree with you. I think we can't go out and straight up buy players without selling because of these new financial fair play rules. That's why we're seeing a lot of loan deals and loan with options or loan with obligations to buy. Obviously, the player that we're linked with now from Aston Villa, Costa Nedeljkovic, I believe his name is.
So good to see. Honestly, it's actually lucky on the Gers TV Weekly Show for me because You know, I'm struggling with some of these pronunciations.
Well, you speak with one accent, mate.
Yeah.
You give it 5. So,
Aye.
well, I've seen that there's supposed rumours that there is an obligation to buy him only if he makes a certain amount of appearances, which I think is a good way to get around the whole financial fair play rules. But again, a lot of these loan players, and it's the same thing that we've moaned about for maybe the last couple of years. If we've got pretty much our whole squad's on loan at this point, like none of these players are outright ours.
Here's a question that Chick. I'm sorry if I'm butting in and it's not the question you were asking, but for me, Chick seems to be hinting at. Do we trust the recruitment team that we've got at the moment? Well, say we've got. I mean, Engels left for 22 million. I would like to think we would get more for Raskin, but maybe a question after this comment for Alex to consider it is: do we trust the recruitment team?
Yeah, a wee comment here for Alex Kelly, good friend of the show. Raskin carries too much baggage and is proven to be a disruptive influence for previous managers. Go and get Lewis Ferguson. He's our proper captain in waiting. I both agree and disagree with that, and I know it seems like I'm sitting on the fence for this full show. I was sitting on the fence with the whole Raskin debate, whether we keep or whether we sell, but I'm not sure. I don't think we will get Lewis Ferguson now unless, well, I say unless, but I don't think we'll get him until the later stages of his career. Now, especially with such high quality clubs interested him now. I mean, you've got your Juventus, Romas, and Lazios, who I'm not going to say bigger clubs, but as it stands, they're better clubs. They're better teams than us. They're competing in the Champions League, and they're richer. They're going to have more money to offer. And nowadays in football, that really is what it's about. Players are going to chase the money. Has Lewis been at court today? Say no, Alex. I've been bowling down in there the other day. I had a wee friendship day down in there.
And I know we're going to talk about this later, but this might be a good time to bring it in. The American striker that we're looking at getting for £7.5 million from Portland. When did MSL become richer than the SFA?
Well, I think that, he's a young guy, he's 21, 22, is that
22.
correct? 22. And he's from Portland. Portland's in Oregon, is that correct?
Yep, you're right.
Well, he's from Venezuela.
Yeah.
Right.
Come on, it's a football podcast, not a geography podcast.
I'm just trying to keep up with Bally Beer. He's been more places in the Philly as well.
Oh, so you get Portland, Oregon, now you get Bali. You've been all over the world in the Gers TV, guys.
He does more flying than a swallow.
Oh God, they don't say that now.
So I think that he's the kind of profile player, young guy, scored some goals, South American, 21, 22. 7.5, unfortunately, it's a lot of money, 7 million, but when you look at all the transfers from around the world, 7 million it's not a great deal of money. It's not a great deal of money
for your clubs in the Premier League or even your Serie A or La Liga, but it's a lot of money for a Premiership team. But considering I'll be completely honest, before we were linked with him, I hadn't heard of him. Kevin Kelsey, I believe, is he Venezuelan? I'm pretty sure. Obviously plays with Portland. He's quite a big lad. He's about 6'4". I'm pretty sure, and as you say, he's quite young. But 7.5 million for a player that's relatively unproven, especially in the Scottish Premiership, it's a lot of money. I know you're saying nowadays in football, but it's not compared to you get players that leave and joining clubs for 150 to 200 million, stuff like that. 7 million's pocket change to a lot of clubs, but it's not pocket change to Rangers at the moment.
I think we should go back to your wind-up question about the money. Some of the I think for me personally, correct me if I'm wrong, but in the MLS there's no promotion or relegation. There's no relegation, is that correct? So that does give clubs the safety blanket of maybe bringing younger players and maybe testing out players. Mm-hmm. That's why a lot of SPL clubs, I think, in my opinion, don't play a lot of Scottish players because they think they can get better from the foreign markets, and they don't want to take that gamble of playing. Because if they finish bottom of the SPL, then that's them financially screwed for years. Yeah, so there's a lot of self-interest involved in the Scottish game at the moment, which means that people won't vote for change. But I'm not saying it's a better system, a better format. It's a different format. And what you find in places like MLS, clubs do have that breathing space to bring in younger players or take gambles on players and develop them. Because
I'm
they
just
know
saying
there's
that
no...
the $7.5 million for a player from the MSL would have been unheard of 3, 4, 5 seasons ago.
Yeah, but if we brought in, all these streaming companies like Disney Plus, Apple, and Amazon Prime, they're going bigger than the MLS, and they're putting a lot of money into the MLS as well. So there's far more money in the MLS than the SPL.
Yeah, and this is what we were going on about like the San Francisco 49ers. When was the last time they won a Super Bowl? Because there's no threat to them losing their position.
Yeah. As I was talking about Gers TV International, we had Frederick from Hamburg there saying, "Come on, Glasgow Rangers," which is always what we like to see. Another big comment here for Terry. Raskin come January. He would be here for 3 years and has done nothing in a Rangers top. I'm basically bored of it, to be honest. Let's see, lose £6 million on Danilo and he wasn't proven in SPL. I disagree. Well, not say I disagree with that. I agree with that because it was stupid money, but he was playing for probably a higher quality team. I'm not trying to disregard the MLS in any way, but he was playing with Feyenoord at the time, and they're a much bigger club and probably a much better club than Portland Timbers. Portland Timbers, let's be honest, I almost said Timberlands there. That's a Boots, not a football club.
I mean, the thing with Danilo, when he came in, he'd a half decent record, but it just seems to me there might not be any scouting there. But he scored a few goals in the Europa League and whatnot. But it was a colossal waste of money. The wages were coming.
Now, going back to, we started this on the recruitment team. Now, Derek's is supposed to be the manager. We've had some head coaches before. So that's a good question, I think, is he part of the recruitment? Is he going, this is the type of players that I'm looking for, and then the recruitment team are coming out looking for them? Or are they going, this is who we can get, we're going to sign them, and you do something with them?
I think it's a bit of both, to be honest, mate. I think what will happen is that when Derek first came into the club, he would have sat down in the recruitment team, and the recruitment team would have said to him, right, tell us the profile of player you want. Derek would have hopefully given him a list of what different players he wanted, profile of players he wanted, personalities as well. The recruitment team would have done their digging, done their due diligence, hopefully, and then came back with a short list, and then maybe go down the short list, but then go, this was unavailable, so we have to go with him. This was unavailable, we'll have to go with him. So I would like to think there was, a process in place, but who knows?
I seen a wee comment there, and I can't remember exactly word for word, but basically Emmanuel Fernandez seems more comfortable because we don't have much options there at the centre back. I know you're laughing, but it's true. He's a lot more comfortable because he knows he's going to get game time anyways. Because it seems as if Ben Godfrey's slowly but surely coming back from his injury. Obviously included in the European squad for Thursday night, but we don't have any defensive cover at the moment because they're all injured.
Well, how I don't really understand how you have a Scottish international and John Souttar. I think he's still employed by Rangers somewhere, somehow. He's not actually officially signed for anyone yet. But Fernandez can make mistakes and guarantee the first team place. It doesn't look as if there's something going on behind the scenes there.
Do you think
maybe been a breakdown between Souttar and McInnes? Because I can't fathom why Derek McInnes would look at Fernandez and go, I can rely on him just now. He'll get better through as the season goes on, but I can't understand why somebody like Derek McInnes can't look at Fernandez and go, he needs to get rested for a week.
And I'm not asking this to sound sarcastic or cheeky or anything like that, but do you genuinely think that John Souttar's a better player than Emmanuel Fernandez?
I didn't say that. So what I said was that if you put the way Fernandez has played the last couple of games, I think John Souttar would play better in those individual games. Is he a better player overall? Probably not. Is Fernandez the long-term option? Yes. However, I would rather at this moment in time, a decent John Souttar performance would be better than the way Fernandez has played in the last couple of games.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with you, but at the same time, you can't rely on a decent John Souttar performance because when was the last time we got that?
Well, we can't really rely on a decent Fernandez performance.
No, of course we can't. But
and I think there has to be consequences for not making the effort in Rangers jersey.
I'll be coming here for Frederick, our Hamburg friend here. I'll come over for your quarter final. I get with that smelly other team. We can take them on like the old days, guys. Come on. Yes, but we'll get onto the draw shortly. Obviously, we'll get on to comments and whatnot in a wee second. But aye, guys, what's your overall thought?
It doesn't have to be John Souttar, but a youngster, a young defender at the club. You know, for me, it's what message and what things does it send out to the players at the club? If you said it yourself at the start of the show, even Penrice and new signing was shouting at Fernandez, right? After 5 minutes, after 10 minutes, right? Unfortunately, I like Fernandez. He's going to be a good player for us. Going to get a lot of money. He's going to develop an even better player. we're going to get a lot of money for him, right? So I'm not saying Fernandes is a bad player or a bad defender, but for me, when you pull on that Rangers jersey and you have, it's up to the manager to manage the situation and identify that maybe not. So if it's the first cuttings, but then you can't just keep somebody that's playing poorly consistently in the team just because he's there, just because he was like a big money move in the summer.
Yeah, but I know what you're saying. For now, for the short term, I would probably agree with you. Maybe bring in one of the young boys. I mean, the boy Connor Owen sort of went viral a wee bit on the internet because he seems a bit of a big unit, a bit of a hard man, but he has been impressing with the youth that I've seen. He seems like a right proper old school defender, which is what obviously a lot of Rangers fans have been crying out for the last few while. Proper old school defenders not going to be feared to get into a challenge, get involved, get himself into a challenge. But I don't think we can, and I'm not saying we can rely on Fernandes either, as I was saying, but I don't think we can fling a young boy in the deep end in an important cup game when we're trying to get ourselves back there. And maybe if we're on the winning games and you're playing, say, a team from the lower leagues at home, like a League One or League Two, possibly maybe we're bringing a youth player maybe starting, but I don't think I think you need to go with your best team. I think especially on
my first choice would have been John Souttar, who's won the cup. So I'm not saying just bringing a young player for the sake of it, but we've got an international defender at the club that's been at the World Cup that's not the greatest defender, I will quite happily say, but he marked Cristiano Ronaldo. What Scotland against Portugal, he was able to mark Cristiano Ronaldo at the game. So he's got that in his locker, John Souttar. But I'm just saying what message to send.
Well, but the problem we also have is we don't know what Souttar's up to right now, what his fitness level is, what his mind. So we might just have to stay with him. I like the idea of bringing in one of the youth players or hear something a wee bit different. We've got 5 substitutions now. When we were up 4-1 on the weekend, we could have brought in one of the youth players at that point just to give them a wee bit more experience because we knew that St. Mirren were not going to score and we weren't going to lose that game. So we could have brought him out, let him play in front of Ibrox. But, we didn't.
I mean, it's definitely a gamble. I mean, Lewis is right to, as well, in the sense that if we take out something like Fernandes, who's got experience in European games, and throw in somebody else, Fernandes might turn it around on Thursday. So it's one of these things, but it just seems to me that the longer we leave it, the more difficult situation it's going to get. And for me, watching Rangers, I just think that if a player has 3 bad games in a row, then at that point it's up to the manager to really put his arm around and say, look, you're a great player, you're part of my plans, but I'm going to give you a week off because we need to just, work on a few things. And that's all I'm really saying with the situation right now with Fernandes.
And I think he's getting a lot of flack too, which won't help his confidence.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, as I was saying though, that's all well and good for the short term, but realistically, we do need cover in the defence, and we've probably only really got maybe 2 weeks left. I've not really seen any rumours of a centre back coming in. Obviously, we've seen about the right back and the striker. But again, that's playing more players out of position. You've got McCrory. You'd have McCrory playing out of position. I've seen a wee comment there. Sai put up of McCann, Godfrey, and Sterling as a back 3. But again, you'd be playing Sterling out of position. Can we keep going on playing these players out with their natural positions? I mean, we've seen Finlay Curtis as a wing back the other night, and also we've seen Dragojevic as well playing at right back. I mean, how long can we go on like this? Constantly playing players out of their position. That's right. And I said this when I came in. We will see James Penrice play as a centre half the next month. I mean, it's baffling why we consistently keep going on to play players out of the position. Why not? I mean, we've got players in their position they can play. I mean, we played Dragojevic at right back when we had 2 right backs on the bench. I mean, it's baffling. It's baffling to me.
Well, we've always done that. We've always played players out of position. It's one of Rangers' history.
Well, I remember we signed. I remember back in watching something like we were getting played. I mean, we played Finlay Curtis. We were getting played wing back, right winger. right wing back, and he was almost it was horrible to watch. And so you're right. I mean, yeah, playing players out of position could harm their careers, could harm their season and their form as well. But for me, it's just when you have going through a bit of a different form, especially these big games. I mean, it's so important financially, at least for Rangers, to get through this Conference League tie. I know the Conference League isn't something we want to be in, but even then, it's extra revenue, and it's a difference. For me, it's a difference between a signing and not a signing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know what the answer is. I'm not saying Suter could be right, Colin, and Lewis as well. Like Suter might not be fit, Robertson might not be doing good enough. But for me, it's just a risk at the moment, and continuing with Fernandes at the back until there's an improvement.
Do you not think Suter's a wee bit too slow now?
I mean, he just struggles with the ball.
Yeah.
It's a simple way to beat John Suter. A simple ball and we'll get it.
No.
Okay. Yeah, it was just food for thought. To be perfectly honest with Fernandes there, but overall, I do think he'll bounce back and he will have a good season. I think for me, maybe the transfer talk has turned his head a little bit in the summer. That's a comment to Chick, I think. Do you want to read that out?
I'll read it out. As Simon says, REL games, but in PPFC games would need to be 30% better to overcome the officials. I'm not quite too sure what you mean by PPFC. Someone clarify if I'm being a wee bit slow here, but I'm not quite too sure what he means by that, guys. But possibly either that or some sort of reference to Celtic, possibly. But yeah, Gordon.
Well, I think what he's also trying to say to the officials is, as you said earlier, Gordon, that when they're reviewing Rangers, it's more CSI, looking through everything to be sure.
Just a wee shout out quickly to Jamie. Si says give him a wee message or get in touch with him to come on the next show next Tuesday. Aye.
Every week.
Yeah, I think it's about time we sort of sway away from the negativity of defenders and whatnot. And talking about Saturday, I think it's time to look. Yeah.
Positive, let's no play.
Yeah. Positive for people that can't listen.
Yeah. Yeah, but anyways, I think it's about time we sort of move on. Talk about the future. Obviously, we've got Thursday night coming up, but we'll quickly talk about. Yeah, no, of course, I'm not saying that, but I think it's about time we sort of get on to talking about. Well, let's talk about the draw in the next round of the League Cup. Obviously, a very, very tasty draw. I think it got a lot of Rangers fans and probably the other teams' fans quite excited as well. I'm very looking forward to it. Obviously, a week before we play them at Parkhead as well. Very interesting. What's your overall thoughts on it, guys?
Whenever we're going to host them, you're always getting very excited. We just cannot repeat what's happened last season and the season before. One thing I do like is with this cup, we don't have to give them 50%. We don't have to give them a stand. I think they're limited to 2,500, 3,000. So let's just put them into the corner and make sure they don't damage Ibrox.
Sorry, guys, wee technical issue here.
So yeah, it's an exciting draw. I'd rather get Celtic at home in the quarterfinals than at hand in the semi-final or final, to be perfectly honest. I think it gives us. There's an argument to say. I mean, it could be too early in Derek McInnes's career at Rangers. We might still be better than new players. Who knows? But listen, it doesn't matter when you play Celtic or when you play any club home and away. If you want to win tournaments, you have to play the best teams in it, and you have to win. So whether it's a quarterfinal, semi-finals, and the final, I'm sure if we want to win any cups this season, we have to play an Old Firm game. So the advantage to us is that it's at home, and I'm obviously excited for it.
Yeah, I mean, as you were saying there, Gordy, we'd probably need to play them at some point, and I'd rather play them at Ibrox than play them at Hampden, if I'm being completely honest with you. It's a fixture that I'm very, very much looking forward to, and see the whole allocation. I'm not really too bothered as long as we really don't give them the full broom like we did the last time, which was an absolute disaster. Obviously, as everyone knows, I'm very looking forward to the prospect of the game. As you said, Colin, it's very exciting when we host them, when we play them, especially at home. But yeah, very looking forward to it. I actually never seen the tie into I left work. I seen it on my phone, but I seen it on Rangers' Instagram. I seen it and I was like, get in. I think that's probably the draw the most Rangers fans would have wanted. You want to play them really as early as you can, to be honest with you.
And if we can get the win, we're going to set down a marker. And then the next game, who knows what's going to happen there? Because that's what happened at the last season. We just seemed to collapse after the cup game and then the league game.
Yeah.
Or sorry, the league
yeah.
game and then the cup game.
I think, it's a great tie and it's exciting and it's something to look forward to. You just said, it's a league game straight after it as well. So let's hope that the kind of middle week of September is a great week for the Rangers. I'm so sorry, man. I can't really read that at all.
That's all right. I'll be commenting here for Jamie, who we've no longer just gave a wee shout out to. Dale should put all eggs in the one basket for the cup game. Play his best 11 and beat them. Gives a great chance for silverware, and this will give the squad confidence. Took Stevie J 3 years, remember? Yeah, well, I can't really disagree with that. I think every Old Firm you are always going to play your best team. And as you said, Colin, you really want to set a marker, especially when you're going away to Parkhead a week after. I think it came out today that the game will be Sunday the 13th of September, 12 o'clock kickoff. Assuming it'll probably be in Premier Sports, which is, well, not surprising, but not quite. I'm not too keen on it, to be honest. I'd rather the games were on Sky Sports. I think that benefits, the punters and the pubs as well, which I'll probably maybe make a wee comment on shortly before the show finishes.
But I think it's now the League Cup is the Premier Sports Cup. So, they're the ones who are controlling it, right? But no, looking forward to it.
Yeah, and as I said, this is just to kind of circle back to the comment I made about if you want to win the tournament and start winning trophies, then you can't have any fear. You have to go in believing you're going to win every game. And I think it's going to be great. It's going to be great for Derek if we can get the win. As you said, it sits down the marker. And I agree with Lewis about Colin, obviously you're right about Premier sponsorship, but I think Sky have got the better coverage and I think they've got the better production. And I think it's better for pubs than that. But you want to just come back to that?
Yeah. A wee comment here for Jim Martin. We finally signed Lewis. Obviously, I'm assuming he's talking about Lewis Ferguson, not me. We finally signed Lewis. We have 4 players in the squad who actually played in our academy. Shanks, McCrory, Penrice. Who's the other one? It'd actually be 5 because you've got Ross McCausland and Finlay Curtis in there as well. And if you're even including the young boy Kyle Glasgow as well. Mad how players go full circle. Yeah, well, as obviously it's all well and good, and we've said in the channel we like a good Scottish core at Rangers and a good Rangers core at Rangers. You want Rangers people in there. You want Rangers supporters. You want folk who know what it means to play for the club. But I think it does go more than that, and I think we have seen that in the last wee while. I think ultimately we need good footballers. I've not seen enough of McCrory to make me fully convinced on him. Even the same with Shankland, to be honest. I thought he had quite a poor game. Thursday night there at home with Jagiellonian, I thought he had a very poor game, albeit he did score the penalty. But I think he's not really shown much in the last few games, considering he's meant to be your captain. He's actually never. I don't know if he actually came on Sunday, but then in the first leg away to Jagiellonian, considering he's your captain, you wouldn't expect him to not come on until 5 minutes before the game finishes. So yeah, obviously. Got some other Scottish players in there. Finlay Curtis, who I thought looked slightly out of his depth when we were playing against Hibs, but however, it's still a player who I think does have a massive and a very bright future at Rangers, and of course Ross McCausland as well, and he's someone that I'll ask you about in a wee minute. But Ross McCausland is someone who's obviously came under a lot of criticism whilst he's been at Rangers and also whilst he was out on loan. I don't actually think he got much game time when he was out on loan in Cyprus, but he's someone who I've always fancied as a right Rangers player, as a good Rangers player. I think he only has maybe one or two weaknesses, but at the end of the day, he's a young player. He's got plenty of time to improve on that. I think his main weakness is he's too easy to shove off the ball. But as I've said before, you get him in the gym and you're all good. Really, you've got a right player.
Well, I really like him, and he seemed to be getting involved and going forward. I agree with you, Lewis, that he's a wee bit light. He's not a heavy player or a big player, but maybe he can use that for his speed to get down the line and everything. And he's committed, and that's one of the things I like.
Yes.
I think sometimes, and it's not just Rangers, but all clubs now seem to have too many missionaries who are coming over and playing just for the dollars.
Yeah, I mean, something I like about somebody like McCausland and Finlay Curtis is that they will try their absolute hearts out. Now, I don't know quite, obviously Ross McCausland is from Northern Ireland, but he has been at Rangers for a number of years, so I don't know if he qualifies as a homegrown player for the European squad, so that's something I might try and find out. But, if he does, then it's the kind of player you probably want to keep at the club just because it's something different, something you can bring on with 15, 20 minutes to go. He's going to try his heart out. He's got some decent attributes, don't get me wrong. I think the finished article, far from it. But you always, as you guys have quite rightly pointed out, he wears his heart on his sleeve. He will try like hell for the cause. And he's capable of good performances. In Europe 2 seasons ago, he played some right good performances. And as I say, it was great to see him coming back on the park the other day and getting a goal as well, which will do his confidence the world of good. I think somebody like Ross McCausland is a confidence player.
Yes.
So his confidence will done the world of good there. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him feature again quite soon under McInnes.
Yeah.
To be honest,
I think a lot of Rangers fans were surprised to see him still be involved in the squad. I think most Rangers fans, including myself, I expected them to leave. I actually thought he had an op with the separate team. I'm not too sure. I think it was Aris Limassol. I thought they had an obligation to buy, but seemingly not. He's been in the squad for a lot of games, and he's coming on at the end, probably more at the end of the games. But obviously, he featured a lot.
And I'm glad to
obviously scoring.
And I'm glad that he's back because I thought when he left, it was a wee bit of a harsh decision. But one thing I wanted to go back to about the starting 11 and the captain, we've already had comments about that. I think we're going to be talking about who should be the captain quite a lot this season, about players who are leaders on the pitch, taking it over.
Well, I don't think the permanent captain at Rangers is going to change this season, considering Derek McInnes has fully came out and said Lawrence Shankland is a captain at Rangers Football Club. But this season, including pre-season, I think we've seen 5 or 6 Rangers captains, which is very rare. Obviously, we've seen Raskin, obviously Shankland, I believe Dan Neil, and Dujon Sterling as well. Tell me if there's any more.
You're probably right.
There probably is more.
I think they were playing pass the armband at one point in the dressing room. But you're right in what you're saying about it. I don't think the permanent captain will change. I think you're absolutely right. I think McInnes and Shankland came out, before the start of the season and said, "Here's your captain." I think that McInnes might have been a deliberate ploy with McInnes during pre-season to try and get some of the new signings talking to each other a bit more and maybe try to psychologically make them leaders on and off the park. So I think that might have been deliberate by McInnes to give everyone a shot off it to try and improve the teamwork and the communication at the club. So I'm not really too much against that, but I think Lewis is absolutely right. I think Shankland will continue as a long-term captain.
I think he'll be the captain, but I think that there'll be a lot of comments about, well, if he's no starting, should he still be? Why was he called, why was he named captain so early in the season when we're still bringing in new players?
Yeah. Colin, before we finish up shortly in a few minutes, there must be more comments. You are a well-travelled Rangers supporter with connections to 1 or 2 different countries and supporters clubs. I believe that you've got a prize on offer this evening from one of the supporters clubs. I've heard rumours. Is this correct?
Well, no, I'm wearing the Rangers Supporters Club shirt today.
Okay.
And
tell us the backstory.
Maybe it's a Gers podcast, not a football podcast.
Well, that's it. No, It's just that some of the lads came from Melbourne. I've got it's just that I'd show off one of their tops. I've also brought a top from Sydney and Gold Coast for their convention, just to include some of the other clubs. I got a wee bit of stick for no mention in the South Bristol Rangers Supporters Club last week, but I've mentioned them now, so hopefully that's all right. But last week I did give a prize for one of the Bally Bear shirts, but the lads know been back to Simon about what size he wants and where he's from.
Right. Okay. Okay. But we'll just do it again. We'll just do it again this week.
We'll just do it again this week, and Simon can pick the best comment. The most shares comment will get a Bally Bear shirt. Just let Simon know the size and where to post it to, or better yet, come to the studio and collect it, and we'll take a photo and put it up.
Yeah, fantastic. So thanks for once again, Colin. You do amazing work with all different supporters clubs throughout kind of Asia and beyond. So fantastic to have you in the studio, and it's great for all these. I just think it's amazing that all these clubs and Rangers supporters get together over our club and enjoy themselves and brings everyone together.
Well, while we're still on that, somehow Simon's convinced me for the Gers TV to have a Bally Bears channel, maybe a 1-hour podcast from Bally or some of the other clubs in Asia, just so that it becomes a wee bit more international, just like the squad.
All right, okay, fantastic. Well, I'm sure we'll tell everyone the details of that over the coming weeks and months ahead. So that's great. That's something to look forward to. And I just go. All our fans come from all over the world to Ibrox and go to the pubs to watch a game. So I think it's absolutely fantastic.
Yep. A wee pot called Rangers over there. I think that would go down quite well. Also, I want to give another wee quick shout out to the Cyprus Loyal, who are based in the Bakers Arms in Paralimni in Cyprus. It was the first Rangers sports club that I ever visited abroad, outside of the UK. I was made to feel very, very welcome from the staff, particularly the owner, but also the treasurer, I believe it was, of the Cyprus Loyal, who have been going since, I believe, 2014 or 2015. So just a wee quick shout out to them. If you're ever in Cyprus, especially in the sort of Ayia Napa, Larnaca, or even Protaras sort of area, make sure to give them a wee visit.
Colin will be going to Ayia Napa. I can guarantee it. Colin will be going to Ayia Napa. Anyway,
I was there a few weeks ago. Don't.
Wee comment there to read out, Lewis, if you can.
Aye. Great to have. Don't know about your accent. Great to have an American on. Always full of confidence.
It changes. It changes.
Well, look, I was born here in Scotland, but raised in Canada. And as Gordy said, I've lived all over the world, so it does change a wee bit. But it's not so much the accent, it's just the pronunciation of certain words.
Great stuff. So I believe we may be coming towards the end of the show. I was going to ask you one quick question. Just give us your instant thoughts on it. Give us your prediction for Thursday night, the score.
1-0. A KJ 1-0 to Rangers, obviously.
I want to say 2, but I'm going to take 1. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm just hoping we've got the bounce we needed from Sunday.
Well, I think we'll take that from Sunday into the game on Thursday. I think we'll win 4-0.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're confident.
What's in here?
Unfortunately, nothing. I'm going 4-0 Rangers. I don't care. Don't care who says what.
I respect the confidence. I think you've always got to have hope and you've always got to have faith. So I'm glad to hear it. You're a lot more confident.
John Sutter head in 2 goals for corners.
You're certainly more confident than us. Obviously, I think now we have to kick on from Sunday. I think it's a given that we really need to consider we're 5 points behind, and we are unfortunately being placed into this Conference League, which is something I never thought I would say in my life. Unfortunately, it was a competition that was made for the sort of smaller teams to give them a chance, but unfortunately we're now at that not at that level, but at that quality. Playing in that competition
Give it
now.
a couple of months, Rangers get to the final, will be as important as the Champions League, I can guarantee you. Great stuff. So I believe we're kind of finishing now. Is that about 8 o'clock?
Yeah, I think it's about time to finish up.
Broadcast.
Obviously head over and listen to our good friends over at Rangers Radio as well, who will be on right as we finish at 8 o'clock.
Great stuff. Colin, any final thoughts?
No, just great to see Rangers win convincingly. Let's bring on Thursday and let's have some fun.
Yep. Thanks everyone for watching, and always remember, we are
The people.